Welcome to the Non-Negotiable Living podcast, where we're building lives by design by creating non-negotiable habits around fitness, family, faith, and financial freedom.
Hey friends, welcome back to Non-Negotiable Living. Today we're diving into a topic that hits close to home, and it's how we talk to our kids and why it matters. Our words shape their world, from makeup to body image to food, self-worth. The way we speak about ourselves and to them lays the foundation for their beliefs and their behaviors. So today we're going to explore how intentional communication can foster confidence, resilience, and a healthy relationship with their body, self, and food. The first thing we're going to talk about is framing beauty for our daughters. So when my daughter sees me putting on makeup and asks to join in, she's almost 3 now. It's something new to her, but it's something that she's seeing. She's watching me, she's asking what I'm doing. I always tell her, we put this on so we can look fancy, not to look pretty. I don't tell her the pretty part at all. I just say, we wear makeup when we want to look fancy. That's the expectation that I set for her. And why do I do that? It's because I want her to know that her beauty isn't something that she needs to earn or apply, but it's inherent. It's something she was born with. It's something that she owns and has every single day with or without makeup. Growing up, my mom would say she was putting on her face. She wouldn't leave the house without makeup, and it impacted me pretty deeply. I internalized the belief that my natural face wasn't acceptable in public, and I so admire women who confidently go out makeup-free. I think it's something that is incredibly beautiful. I love to see that level of confidence, that level of care for themselves, but it's something that I've struggled with, and I want my daughter to feel comfortable in her own skin without makeup. But it's really something that I want my daughter to feel comfortable with, is being okay in her own skin. I don't want there to always be the expectation that we have to put on makeup, we have to do ourselves up to be acceptable in life. I've spent a lot of time and energy trying to minimize the amount of makeup I wear, to try and make it pretty minimal so that she doesn't see it as something that is a constant, something that I always have to have on. There are days that I'll wash my makeup off as soon as we get home and I'll go makeup free the rest of the day, or weekends that I'll go makeup free, just to help her kind of solidify this idea that it isn't something that we always have to do, it's something that we can choose to do. The next thing I want to talk about is shifting our narrative around weight. So I have a scale in my bathroom and I weigh myself daily. For me, it's just data. I love to understand how my body responds to the things that I do. And occasionally, my kids see me weigh myself and they get curious. So when they do, I always say to them, let's see how strong we are today, focusing on strength rather than weight. My mom obsessed with her weight. She was constantly dieting and often involved me in her restrictive behaviors and practices. She criticized her body, her arms, her thighs, her legs, which mirrored mine in a lot of ways. In my opinion, my mom and I were like twins from the neck down. And she would often say, my arms are too manly, my thighs are too thick, my legs are stubby, my feet are fat. And I hated it because I felt like she was inadvertently down-talking me because I looked just like her from the neck down. From a body perspective, we were like the same person. And her self-criticism became mine inadvertently. And I refuse to pass that on to my daughter. I don't talk about dieting or restricting foods or losing weight. Instead, I promote just a balanced approach to eating and a healthy body image and a focus on getting strong. And studies have shown that parental communication about weight can significantly influence a children's body satisfaction. So negative comments about weight and appearance from parents are linked to higher levels of body dissatisfaction and unhealthy eating behaviors in children. So I think we can all think back to a time where somebody has said something negative to us when we were kids, whether it was your parent saying, oh, those shorts are a little bit too tight, you're looking a little tubby, or your shirt's a little too tight on your belly, or something like that. Those things stick with us. They become core memories. And every time we put on a shirt that feels a little too snug, we think back to that time when we were 6 years old and our aunt said that to us. Or we think back to the time that our mom pinched our love handles because our pants were fitting a little bit too tight. Those are things that really impact us. And the way that we speak to our children about weight and their body is highly impactful. And that leads me to the next topic, which is the importance of fostering a positive relationship with food. In our home, we don't label foods as good or bad. We discuss foods and what they do for our bodies. Some give us energy, some help us grow, some bring us joy. I never skip treats like ice cream or pizza with my kids. They know our dinners are typically a meat, a vegetable, and a starch, but nothing's really off limits. And research indicates that how parents talk about food significantly impacts children's eating behaviors. So when we label foods as bad or use dessert as a reward, it increases that stress and negative effect on children's relationship with food. So instead, in our house, we don't call foods healthy or unhealthy. And I realized this lately because I think at school they're talking about foods in that way. Because my son came home the other day and he said, "Mom, broccoli's healthy." I was like, "Yeah, it is healthy." And I said, "What makes you say that?" And he said, "Because it's a vegetable." And I said, "Yeah, vegetables are healthy. So are meats, so are carbs, so are all of our foods. All foods can be healthy. Some foods are healthier than others, and some foods just serve us differently." So I never try and label things as bad or things that should be avoided. I always tell my coaching clients, I'll never tell you if food is bad. I'll never tell you anything is off limits. And I'm never going to tell you not to eat something because I don't believe in restriction. I don't believe in dieting. It's part of the reason that I've never competed in any fitness competitions. I've coached people to compete, but I've never personally done it because I refuse to diet. I refuse to cut calories. I refuse to cut carbs. For a lot of years, I was in the mindset of carb cutting. It was just when I was in my teens, that was the focus. We've gone through a lot of phases in life where, in the 70s and 80s, it was low fat, low fat, low fat. Once we got into like the 90s and 2000s, it was low carb, keto, all these things. So we've gone through these ebbs and flows of foods being bad, but there's no bad foods. Macros are necessary for our body. Carbs, fats, and proteins are all necessary and they serve different functions. So carbs are a natural energy source. If we cut carbs, a lot of us get brain fog. We don't have energy. We don't feel as strong in our workouts. Our body doesn't recover as effectively. If we cut protein out, we're basically starving our body from the nutrients it needs. Protein helps fuel our body. It helps build our muscle. It helps keep our metabolism strong. So it's imperative for our body. And then fats, our bodies rely on that for hormonal balance. So when we're constantly cutting fats and eating low-fat foods, it's actually really hard on our system and it can imbalance our hormones a lot. So all of the macros are important. It's important to have balance in our body and our systems and our foods and our options. So no food is bad. Nothing should be off limits. It should all be about balance and not restriction. Everything's fine in moderation, and that's what we teach our kids. But our words have a lasting effect on our children, and the way we talk about our bodies and our food and our self-worth become our children's internal dialogue. So it's crucial to model self-compassion and a healthy relationship with our bodies and food, because if our kids constantly hear us saying, "I'm fat, my thighs are too big, my arms look too thick, I don't feel good about myself," those things are going to impact our kids, and they're going to start to feel that way about themselves if they look like you. They're going to learn that negative self-talk. Whether they look that way or not, they're going to learn, I'm not nice to myself. I say unkind things to myself. If we're constantly telling our kids, like, stop eating that crappy food, they're going to associate some foods as being crappy and unhealthy and some foods as being healthy. And that creates this weird gap in their minds where they're like, okay, so when should I eat those unhealthy foods that I enjoy? Like, can I eat them? Is it off limits? Because if we start to create the mindset of restriction at a young age, then it's likely that they're just going to binge those foods later because they're going to try and restrict too much and then they overeat them. So we have to create a healthy balance. So let's talk through some practical tips for intentional communication. First off, we need to model self-compassion. If we speak kindly about our body and we avoid negative self-talk in front of our kids, we can exemplify more confidence, compassion, kindness, and just the right kind of descriptive words to talk about our bodies that help them bolster their view of their own body. We also want to focus on functionality. So let's emphasize what our body can do rather than how it looks. When we talk about your legs are so strong, they can run so fast, your arms are so strong, look how heavy of something you can pick up. We just want to bolster our kids in those ways so that they see their body as being capable and able. And when we encourage movement and exercise, because their body is capable and they should love it and be thankful for it, that's really what we're after. We want to show our kids that exercise and healthy eating is something that we do because we love ourselves, not because we hate ourselves. But we also want to encourage balance. So when we promote a balanced approach to eating without labeling foods as good or bad, we are able to give more flexibility and understanding and the ability to eat the foods we enjoy and the foods we need to eat in unison without having to feel like we are restricted or on a diet constantly. We also want to celebrate strength, so highlighting achievements and strengths unrelated to our appearance. It doesn't have to be about how our body looks, it's what does it do for us. Like, you're so smart, look how much you've learned, you're so kind, you're so sweet, you're so capable, you're so fast, you're so amazing. Like, we want to talk about things that aren't just related to appearance. And we want to also bolster those things in ourselves and let our kids know that it's okay to appreciate yourself for what you're good at. So we need to be mindful of our language. We need to avoid making comments about weight or appearance, especially in front of our children if it's negatively about ourselves. But we just need to watch what we say and how we say it. But by implementing these practices, we can help our children develop a healthy self-image and relationship with their food and their body, their confidence, and their mindset. So we always have to remember that our words shape our children's world. And by speaking with intention and compassion, we empower them to embrace themselves fully. And that's what we want. We want to raise confident, healthy, happy kids. So thank you for joining me today on Non-Negotiable Living. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend, leave a review, and let's continue to converse and support each other over Instagram. And let's support each other in raising confident, resilient, and healthy kids. We got this.